look around and everything looks hopeless, you're the hope. You're the hope. And I want to say to the groups in this room, to Swing Left and Indivisible and the Jaywalkers and Do the Most Good and Progressive Action Montgomery and Progressive Neighbors, I hope I'm not leaving it out. I want to say you guys have been the hope for nearly 2 years for us. You have been the hope. And I say that with no disrespect for my beloved Democratic Party, but do you think that the DNC could have organized the Women's March on Washington, or the Climate March, or the Science March, or any of the public protests that have established and reasserted the basic principles of America? It's the movements and the groups that have done it. And I've been in every one. I'm seeing a lot of people here that I marched with in the Women's March. Were you guys there? How many of you guys were? I will never forget coming back from that march. I was with some of my kids. My daughter Tabitha, who was a junior at College Park. Tabitha said to me, "What'd you think, Dad?" And I said, that was, I'd say, pretty much the greatest political day of my life, being at the Women's March. It was so filled with hope and encouragement. I said, I did have one criticism of it. There were no chants there about the emoluments clause. And so Tabitha said, "Dad, nothing rhymes with the emoluments clause." So being an old-fashioned student protester, I took it as a challenge. I said, how about this? Stop Trump, stop Pence, impeach them for emoluments. I decided I was going to write a chant for every one of our marches. So when we went to the Science March, I said, okay, yes to science, yes to reason, no to Trump, and no to treason. What do you think about that one? The Climate March, how many of you guys went to the Climate March? Yeah. Well, you'll remember that the president decided to tweet out that day that climate change is a hoax perpetrated on the Americans by the Chinese. And I tweeted back, no, Donald Trump is the hoax perpetrated on the Americans by the Russians. But I had a chant for them that day, and my chant was very simple, which was, Trump, you liar, our forests are on fire. Anyway, well, I'm not going to bore you with all of them, but one day you will get the collected chants of Congressman Jimmy Raskin. That's how I'm going to commemorate this dismal period in our history. Look, we're all here, at least most of us are here as true blue Democrats. So I wanted to start on a bipartisan note. I saw a Republican on the way in. And so I thought I would invoke our last great Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, who spoke of government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Okay, that's what we're fighting for right now. And in fact, our minority leader, Speaker Pelosi, is giving us hats. She gave me a hat that says "For the People," and I'm going to give it to whoever in the crowd is going to devote every single day between now and the election, knocking on doors. Is there anybody out there? You can come and collect your hat, direct from Nancy Pelosi. Is there anybody who's devoting every day to the doors? Anybody? Well, for a month, all right. I hear 30, is that 30 days? I hear 30 days. Do I hear 35 days? Do I hear 40 days? Are you, yeah? We've got a winner? Are you going to spend every day? And who's that lovely child with you? Hello? Maryland. Like, not Maryland, okay. Maryland for Maryland. You've got your own For the People hat. Share some tips tips and some thoughts with you. I spent most of the summer on this fantastic project with these amazing young people called Democracy Summer. I don't know if you guys heard about Democracy Summer. We got some of the Democracy Summer fellows here today, but a lot of them are in the high school age, and I told them everything that they need to know about politics is everything they need to know about learning how to drive and getting your license. If you want to go forward, you put it in D. If you want to go backwards, you put it in R. Okay? So send the word out to the millennials. And if they're interested in political philosophy, you can dress it up a little bit and say, you can vote D for democracy, or you can vote R for Russia. Those are our choices in 2018. My summer reading was this wonderful book by F.W. Brand about Franklin Roosevelt called Traitor to His Class. One of the things I learned in that book is that the Roosevelt and the New Deal Democrats called our party the democracy. Everybody called it the democracy. So he said, the Republicans want an economics that invests in the richest people in the country, hoping that the windfall will rain down on everybody else. But the democracy says, invest in the middle class, and there will be enough for everybody, okay? And so, some of my colleagues in the House of Representatives across the aisle can't seem to pronounce the name of our party. They call us the Democrat Party. So now when they say the Democrat Party, I say, well, I'm going to give you a way to describe us that you can pronounce. We are the democracy, you are the plutocracy. How about that? How about that? Because they've proven that's who they are. They came to Washington saying they wanted to drain the swamp. They moved into the swamp, they built a hotel on it, and they drained the treasury instead. And I don't know if you noticed, but Paul Manafort has a new job. He's working for the FBI now. There aren't too many co-conspirators left to turn state's evidence. I guess the big question now is whether Donald Trump is going to flip on Putin or Putin's going to flip on Donald Trump first. Who's going to make the deal first? So, my friends, this is our moment. You've got to go and tell the people, register to vote, get everybody in the family registered to vote. If you've got kids who are away at college, we need, and you will be getting from Democracy Summer the means to do this, we need a voter action plan. And I'll tell you why. Because I know some kids, some who are very close to me, but I'm not naming names, who in prior elections have said, oh yeah, well, I was going to vote absentee, but then I thought I would just come home. But then it got too close to home, I had too much homework, so I couldn't come home, and I didn't do the absentee, and I forgot to do early voting, so I missed it. Okay, that's unacceptable in 2018, all right? Everyone needs a voter action plan. We want a plan. Are you doing early voting? Are you doing absentee voting? Are you voting that day? How are you going to get it done? So we want everybody to fill it out, but especially if you're away at college. Because, they all want to blame the millennials. The millennials only voted 20% last time. Look, the millennials could vote 80 or 90% if we made it easy for people to vote. We don't make it easy for people to vote. But the people in this room, we're going to make it easy for people to vote because we're going to lay out the options and we're going to get everybody to commit, and everybody's going to have a voter action plan buddy. And you're going to make sure that your friend votes, and they're going to make sure that you vote, okay? So that's part of our job. We're going to make sure that we deliver the vote. Now, we're fighting at every level, right? First, here in Montgomery County, we're fighting for a great county councilman to become the next great county executive in Montgomery County. I want to tell you something about Mark Elrich, okay? Now, Mark is a man of public commitment and devotion. He's devoted his life to public service in Montgomery County. He devoted his career to the children of Montgomery County as a teacher here in our community. And so, of course, he decided not to take money from all of the corporations and the lobbyists and so on. Of course, they didn't want to give him any money anyway, but he is a publicly financed candidate, okay? And so what that means is he cannot accept millions of dollars or thousands of dollars, but everybody in this room can give him $150. And if you give him $150 through the magic of public financing, that becomes $750, okay? So we want everybody investing in these close house races around the country, but we want everybody investing in Mark Elrich for county executive too. $150, everybody here, okay? We're going to get Ben Jealous and Susie Turnbull elected through the power of turnout, across the state. And we are going to win throughout the Mid-Atlantic, all right? You got to understand, Pennsylvania is ground zero in this congressional election. Why? Because the Pennsylvania Supreme Court struck down perhaps the most brutal gerrymander in the country. Pennsylvania, you know, is basically a blue state. Obama won twice in Pennsylvania. They've got Democratic governors and senators and so on. But you know what the congressional delegation is from Pennsylvania in the House of Representatives that I serve with? 13 Republicans and 5 Democrats. 13-5, which shows you the awesome diabolical power of gerrymandering. But the Pennsylvania Supreme Court said this is too much and struck it down on state constitutional grounds. Not federal, because of course the Supreme Court, which itself has been gerrymandered by the court packers in the Republican Party, have backed off of doing anything on gerrymandering. So now we depend on the state Supreme Courts. But the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court stepped up and did it. And guess what we've got in Pennsylvania now? We've got a fair fight. We've got a fair fight. And Pennsylvania is going to send definitely 4, maybe 5, maybe 6 or 7 new progressive women Democrats to the House of Representatives. Christy Holohan and Mary Kay Scanlon and Susan Wild and Jess King in Lancaster County. We want everybody to take one day to go on up to Pennsylvania, and we're trying to organize a day where we can get all these candidates to come down to Montgomery County, where we will have a cheesesteak and crab cake reunion, and we are going to turn the Mid-Atlantic around, starting with the Keystone State in Pennsylvania.